Hi everybody, this is Diana, and today I want to play around with using EFT and the law of attraction to help clear some money blocks that I have. Financial issues seem to be abundant for myself and others in my life and in the world right now, and there really is an infinite source if we tap into it. There's so much money out there to be made, and yet we often live in a space of lack and poverty and not having enough, which makes a lot of sense based on the current climate of the money world out there right now, and there's a lot of fear. So that is usually fear is the deep underlying component to most things, and really fear of death is the absolute bottom line, is what people are really afraid of. So I want to see if by clearing some of my blocks that I have today around abundance and manifesting, if I can create some more income and some more flows of money into my life. So when I think about having to support myself, having to make money, and when I talk about that, it's I want to have an abundance, enough money so that I can do all the amazing things that I want to do in life that cost money. There's incredible seminars that I want to go to. I'd like to take beautiful vacations. I want to have money to buy all the health food so that I can cook. Well, I do a lot of raw, but so that I can create beautiful meals for myself and those that I love. And unfortunately, that takes money. So when I tap in and I see where I am on that spectrum, there's definitely some stuff. I feel it in my body here, and it's at about an 8. And it is definitely fear. It's fear of failure, of lack, of not being enough, not being good enough. I think those are some pieces. So let's start the tapping. And again, please feel free to follow along with me, and either you can say exactly what I say and then you can do your own thing later, or you can add in whatever is up for you at the moment. Either way, you're going to get a benefit and you're going to get a shift. We're going to start, we're going to dig in, and let's get some layers here removed around money blocks. Okay. So starting at an 8. And often when you're tapping, it's best to use your dominant hand and tap on your non-dominant hand on the karate chop point, although you can use both hands or you can do it the other way around. There's not a lot of hard and fast rules with EFT. Typically, you do what works, and if things aren't working, you want to go back to the real basics and use the hardcore recipe, which you can find online. It's very easy to access this information. Gary Craig is such a beautiful soul and gave this as a gift to the world, so it's very, very accessible and very affordable. There is a lot of free information, and then some very inexpensive manuals that you can buy as well to help support you in this process, and diagrams that are online so that if what I'm doing isn't clear, you can get more in depth. Okay. Even though I'm feeling fearful that I don't have enough money and I'm feeling stuck in lack, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I'm afraid that I will run out of money and life will come crumbling down, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I'm afraid that I won't have enough money to do all the amazing things that I want to do or even to pay my rent, I deeply and completely accept myself. Fear of lack. I'm already feeling a shift. That's why I'm smiling. Fear of lack. Fear of lack of money. Afraid I will run out of money. Afraid there is not enough money to go around. Fear of money. Fear of not having enough money. Fear of not being able to support myself. Fear of being unsafe. Fear of lack of funds. Afraid of not having enough money. Afraid I will run out of money. Fear of being without. fear of not having enough money, fear of not having abundance in my life, fear of not being successful, fear of not being able to take care of myself. So that's interesting. I was a little skeptical that this would work. I still feel something. It's more of a burning behind my eyes. But in my chest, it feels quite a bit lighter. And I would say when I first started doing the tapping and I started smiling, I was down to a 6 already. And now I would say I'm at about a 3 or a 4. And so that actually feels pretty manageable. What you can do is you can tap it all the way down to 0. Just for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that in this video. I will spend time after the video tapping and getting that down to 0. But what I want to do right now is I want to scan my body and I want to see what is going on emotionally when I think about lack or when I think about not having enough money, if I have a charge in my body and if it brings anything up. Maybe a little bit of butterflies in my stomach, so a little bit of nervousness. And it's maybe about a 3 or 4, so it's pretty moderate. So what I could do is I could go back in and see if there's other aspects to that, because this does feel different. So typically, we'll feel something one spot in our body. So I felt it originally in my chest, and then when it shifts to the stomach, what that usually means is that it's a different aspect and a different piece of the puzzle. Like I've explained before, problems can be like onions, and occasionally you get right to the middle of them and you pull out all the layers at once, and it's amazing, and your problem just disappears. It can go like that in one tapping session, and other times you have to peel the onion, and it's layer by layer, and it can be a little bit arduous and time-consuming, and yet every layer you get rid of, you don't have to experience again. So it's a way of doing a deep self protocol and getting deeper and deeper into who you truly are in here, and uncovering the things that are blocking you and keeping you stuck in your life. So this isn't something that you have to tackle in one sit. If that feels like a lot of pressure, don't worry. You take your time and just continue to do this on a daily basis and to examine what are the emotions that are coming up in me when I sit down and I tap. And I would say have a journal that you write those things down so that you can go back and you can see, wow, I was really anxious and had this fear around money at a 10 or an 8 or whatever it is in October. And if it's something you're tapping on daily, you can see how the number goes down, and you can write down the different aspects and set some time aside each day to tap on the different pieces. And all you do with that is you go back in like I would do it with the setup phrase. And if it's the same thing, but feels like it's still like you want to go from an 8 to a 4, and then you want to go from the 4 to the 0, or however low you get, that's when you'd go back in and say, this remaining, or I still have. So even though I still have this remaining fear about money, I deeply and completely accept myself. So that would be the way you would do that, and then you'd go through tapping the other points. If there was something else that came up, another aspect, for example, you would just start over and say, even though I'm afraid that I'm going to be homeless, let's say that came up, or let's say the part that was really up for you was, I'm afraid that people are going to judge me. Then you would tap on that and go through the whole tapping sequence again. And then what can happen is you go back and you keep doing a mental scan, or I guess a body scan is a better way to put it, of where you feel each emotion in your body, and you'll start to notice, hopefully, that it's not as charged, or it might not even be there. So I hope this was helpful, and please, again, feel free to email me with any questions. Get your tap on. Love and blessings to everybody, and thank you so much for watching. Good night.